Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to achieve your first million in tech? And today we're connecting from London, United Kingdom, to the French part of Canada, right?
Quebec City.
Sean, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Sean Longdo. I'm CEO of a company called Outforce.ai. I've had 4 tech companies before. This is my 5th. So I'm happy to share all the failings that I've been through.
This is your 5th tech company? So
this is my 5th company.
Oh my God! So tell us a little bit more. So why did you start to be in the tech space? Are you a programmer? How you end up in the tech industry?
I was kind of asked backwards, actually. It was so I was doing global sponsorships, and I saw the transformation of the advertising and of the other industries, which were big dollar spends, where there was somebody who owned the information would get a large percentage of a transaction just because they had the information. And the internet made that information accessible to the end users. So most of your audience probably won't know this, but you used to use a travel agent to go travel somewhere because they knew how to book the hotels and the airlines.
Yeah.
Now you use Expedia or whatever, right? Same thing in the stock trades. It used to be the broker that would get 15% of the trade because they knew in live real time what was trading at what price, and they could transact for you. Enter E-Trade and Charles Schwab and all these other electronic formats, boom. So I was seeing that as the industry change that I wanted to make in the ad space and allow the advertisers to go around the agencies that were buying the media and buy it directly. And which brings me to the very first lesson in how not to make $1 million and what to avoid. The first was to take action. I started a company, but the most important thing was to listen. And so I went around, I knew a lot of global marketers, and I said, here's my idea. This model works in other industries. This industry is ripe for disruption. And they all said, yeah, great idea. Go for it.
I actually like it.
They loved it.
I think it's a good idea. What happened with the idea?
It's a great idea.
I love it.
You have to realize the environment you're going into might not be welcoming of that kind of a change.
Because it's way too early.
Way too early. This is like the 1990s. So.
Oh my God.
And so one person thankfully said, dumbest idea I've ever heard. Now, what are you talking about? Everybody else says it's a great idea. Instead of thinking he was an idiot, I said, what are you telling me that no one else is telling me? He said, look at me. I'm the head of a multi-billion-dollar company. I have a huge budget. I use an agency to do the creative and another agency to do the media buying. If you're telling me to get rid of my media buying agency and hire a couple people to do it all for me because you're going to give all the information online. Yeah, that's it. You'll save millions. Okay, so what happens if a campaign fails? Who gets fired, right? When I have an agency, I can fire the agency. When it's me, they fire the coach. And I've built a career here. I don't want to lose that. So so you got to figure out what the reason is it's not going to work. Look for the reasons it's not going to work. And then figure out how to get through that. Anyway, long story short is I changed the business model from being disruptive to inclusive. And our campaign was, basically, I built a Rosetta Stone that translated data formats between the large systems that each party was using, the buyers and the sellers. And then it reduced all the data entry and all the mistakes that come with data entry. This is like back in the 1990s and 2000s.
Wow.
So it's like, that's just history. But the point is, we said, instead of saying we're going to take away your job, we said we're going to bring back the 3 martini lunch.
We're gonna make it easier. Right?
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna have time to talk.
That's more inclusive, right? Than disruption, and that's more inclusive. We're gonna help you to make your job easy, right?
Exactly.
But then, so then what happened? I think you went up to something because it was disruption in all the industries, and you said, well, there is a space here, and the advertising is, it's a giant industry.
Yeah.
If an evolution can be done there, we're talking about a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
It was somebody else back in the day with the crazy idea, same like you, or you were the only crazy around?
Well, being in Canada, it's a nice place to start a company because it's a small market with big problems, just like the United States. And so I was fortunate enough to get the SDKs, the software development kits for these big enterprise systems, and that enabled me to solve the problem. And so these American companies looked at me like, okay, Canada's a pimple on the elephant. It's always complaining about our systems. This might be a good add-on solution. We'll let Sean go and run with it. And I ran with it and it worked.
Wow.
But my investors obviously said, hey, Canada's a small market. Let's head south as soon as possible, right? So I went south, and in New York, it's a different world, man. I mean, they are big players, and there's
Wild West over there, yeah?
billions at stake and well-established reputations and linkages that, the small-time Canadian. I was like,
credibility. They don't even look at you. They don't even don't even let you walk into a reception of the building if
well, they
you're
let you
nobody.
in, they hear you out, and then they just go, "That's a good idea, but you're not doing it here. This is our country. This is our place." Like, that's a good idea. You made it work. Hands off to you, but you want to do this in the States? No, we're going to do that. Like, there's too much money involved. So I realized, and they said, if you come in here and try this, we're gonna. Well, I won't tell you who it was, but we're gonna take away the updates, so you'll be screwed in Canada.
Wow, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's how aggressive is the. So there were people already thinking that it was. But Sean, a big opportunity. Sean, but did you wrote? Are you a software developer?
No, I'm a business guy.
I
find a problem.
Do you think that was a good idea? You building tech companies without knowing how to write a line of code?
It's a terrible idea. I mean, you learn so much by doing, right? And so you don't know how to build a team. So I hired what most entrepreneurs who are on the business side do is they hire somebody they know who knows something about software, right? And you give them a whole whack of the company. The problem with that is when you grow up and the company actually becomes successful, that person who you knew who could hack stuff together, he was the gamer in your, who could build anything you wanted in over a weekend, and there you got your prototype. The problem with that is that person is not the person who's going to lead the engineering team of 50,
absolutely,
who's going to make it a scalable product and enterprise it, So that's a mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make. And one of the reasons it's sometimes, now that with AI being able to build a lot of stuff and so many experts in so many businesses, especially contracting companies, who can build your proof of concept without you having to give up equity. You do have to put a little cash in, but if you think about it, if you give 15 or 20% of the company, or even 50% to your engineering partner, that could be worth $50 million, right?
And also,
which is spending maybe $100,000 to get things started.
Let's face it, John, regardless that you are running a tech company, right? And this is the issue that we find in the tech space over and over and over again, right? Is that this, at the end of the day, is a business, right? And
that's right.
The nature of the business, this is how it works. We need someone like you that know how to identify a market, how to identify a problem, how to know what people are willing to pay for, because this is what you did, right? You actually have an idea. I'm going to disrupt this. Somebody told you this is a bad idea. You have to refine this because it's not going to work. And in your head, you say, okay, if I refine this, these people will be able to pay for it. And all I have to do is develop that. So you knew there already was a market ready to pay for that. You already knew the size of that market. You already have all this information. And then you have the wise idea to say, okay, I'm going to hire a tech team, right, that will develop the product to serve that market. What we find all over and over in the tech space, 90%, 80%, 90% of the companies that we find is the other way around. We have all these genius software developers creating this AI software tool patented that they're gonna change the world. How brilliant is the technology? And then after they put all the money, the resources, all the time in that amazing product, now they find out that nobody's buying it. The product is no market fit, and now you have to take the product and polish it a lot so the client is ready to buy the product. And then you're wasting a lot of energy, resources, time, and everything, and now you have to do double work, triple work, because actually what you did is not the. So I think that I prefer 10 companies run people like you, right? Because at least you know that when the thing works, you can sell it. Because the other way around is painful. Sean, have you seen something the other way around? Because I see here in London every single
all the time. Yeah. Great engineers.
It's even worse. They develop this product that is gonna be amazing, that they're gonna solve the problem. That is amazing software that is gonna, and then you know what, Sean, I need your money for marketing so I can sell it. Yeah.
So I mean, the most famous accelerator, Y Combinator, the first thing they do is say, talk to 100 customers. And will they, great. This is, and define whether it's medicine or vitamin, right? Is it something I need, or is it something I might like?
I like the analogy between medicine and vitamin. Yeah.
Wow. Because you've got so many apps on your phone that you thought were kind of cool, but you don't need them. And how many times do you go back to them? Zero.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. That's vitamin, right? Whereas, hey, my calendar, Slack, email,
WhatsApp. Oh,
yeah, exactly. So yeah, you just be honest with yourself. Is it a vitamin or is it medicine? And if it's a vitamin, vitamins do sell, right? How many people really want it? And what's my go-to-market cost? And how hard is it to get there? That's really critical. Yeah.
So Sean, okay, so after you,
that was my first company. That's like, as I say, I had 4 companies before this.
I like to say I'm heading to that now, right? So now
but my line, Harry, is I've had 4 companies before this. This is my 5th. They all went south. Now I'm from Canada, so going south can mean 2 things. 2 of them went to the States.
Yeah. So so Sean, after back in the day that you have this first experience in tech, which is very lucrative, don't get me wrong, and back of the day, very, very lucrative, very risky. So then you thought that was a good idea to open and to have another tech venture. Do you think that was a great idea? Do you know how many tech companies fail versus to succeed? Do you think that was a good idea to open another tech company?
Well, the second one was more of a, excuse me. The next 2 were more, I took on the leadership role of companies that existed. I was a turnaround guy because they needed some go-to-market expertise. And one of my board members,
and that's your strength, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a sales CEO who figures out problems and then tries to use technology to enable the solution, as opposed to a technology founder who's trying to find a problem, right?
Yeah, this is and honestly, this is what I see. It's not that the technology founders, they don't succeed, right? However, I think that is more unlikely, right? Speaking about reality, because I talk with a lot of people. I always said, if you create a product, this is what I think. The first time that we get involved in tech, this is what I have from everybody. Harry, you don't have any idea about tech. You don't have any clue about tech business. This is different. This is not like a normal business. You come in here for all your concepts like a normal business, and this is the tech space. This is completely different. You don't have any clue. You need to listen what we say, right? And I'm like, okay, but the more that I see tech businesses, is so similar to the real business. If you have 100% of the budget, 20% go to product development, the other 80% you need to use in marketing and sales. Otherwise, you're dead.
Right. Or, well, what people hope is that it goes viral through referrals and everything else, right? The scalability of the solution and that kind of growth
I hope
can
that is
work.
gonna that is gonna be for free. That
Yeah,
is gonna take
that's
any energy, any money, and resources,
that's an
any
answer.
expertise that we don't need. Sean, we don't need you. Yeah. So my technology is so good that we sell by itself. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. So that, and some people call it, and that has really grown in mindset that you can have product-led growth, right? That the product does the speaking for itself. But you have to really know how, you need marketing expertise to know how to make
Even
that
to tell
work.
that story, right?
What's the hook? What's going to keep me coming back?
Absolutely.
How much do I have to give away when I start, until I start hitting the paywall? All those things are things that you learn from marketing experts. And today, especially, where technology can be built so fast with Copilot and all the AI functionalities, technology means way less than go-to-market strategy.
Mhm. Mhm.
Go-to-market strategy is the most important part of your business, and not knowing what your
Absolutely.
market is willing to pay or buy
Mhm.
is walking into, a lion's den blindfolded.
Yeah, and Sean, but this is how normal business are.
Yeah.
The more I see tech, yeah, businesses, the more I'm getting more close that wow, a lot of people told me that this is different. It's actually not. It's a
No.
business like any the fundamentals are the same, right? You need to, because in the normal businesses, this is what you're talking about, right? You need to put all the energy in getting the product to market and sell it, or where you have nothing, right?
Hey, Harry, at the end of the day, who's buying the product? A human.
Yeah.
And a human makes decisions based on emotions
Hmm.
and justifies it with logic.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
you have to make an emotional connection to what that problem, your solution is doing for that person before they'll actually engage with it.
Either it's
So
tech or not tech, it doesn't really
tech or no tech, it doesn't matter. And in fact, the technology is going like this, but humans, we're still
it's the
kind of
same.
cavemen. We're dealing with these incredible tools, but we're still caveman mindset. We still have fears, we still have hopes, we still have all these
Mhm.
things going on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, Sean, tell us I mean, I'm sure that you have hundreds of those ones, but tell us about one of your setbacks and how you overcome it in your
Mm.
space. Only one, yeah.
Only one. Okay. A
One.
setback and how.
Pick your
Okay.
favorite.
So here is the company that I have now. It's called Outforce.ai, and it came from two pivots. So I'll just give
Oh.
you the second. I'll give you the second pivot. The first business started at the side of my desk. I was running another company. I was helping out a city in Canada called Calgary, which is very oil sector based, and they were trying to transform into a tech based economy. I had lived through that in Vancouver. And so I kind of knew the playbook, so I was kind of helping out. Trump comes in, anti-immigration policy. I go, let's bring these tech workers into Canada because we have a really good
Oh
immigration
God.
policy for tech workers. We
Wow.
can get people in 2 weeks. So I went down to the States and started hiring these engineers whose visas were expiring and they'd have to go back to their country of origin.
Mhm.
Most of them were Indian, Brazilian, Colombian, Ukrainian, whatever. And I would just hire them and then hire them, sponsor their visa into Canada, and then contract them right back to the United States. Little markup and everything was good. Then people asked me, hey, you're bringing all these engineers to Canada. Can you bring them for me as a Canadian company? I said, maybe my people know people, but this is a closed loop between us and the States. And sure enough, I started a global, not a global outsourcing, a global headhunting business for
Wow.
high-end engineers. Um, and interestingly enough, well, I could go into the details about how that worked well. But it was interesting because remote work wasn't there yet, right? So people really wanted people to come to Canada, go to the office, all that stuff. Enter COVID, whole business is wiped out.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I have to look hard in the mirror and go, oh boy, what am I going to do now, right?
Wow, that was a
So
tough one, right? You serving the market really well, everything working, and all of a sudden, You don't need it anymore because everybody can work from home. Oh my God.
Yeah. So a lot of people go, oh my gosh, the business is a failure. I'm a failure. Everything, da. No, you build on what you've built so far. You stack on what you've already got. You lever that as much as you can to figure out what is the story that I'm being told that I have to listen to in order to get it right. I tried a few things. The one that landed was this. One of the things that one of the blessings of COVID was that remote was going to be okay, right? One of the bad things about the recruiting business is it's one and done. Like once somebody's hired and you get your check, there's no recurring revenue, right? Absolutely. So it's a really tough business. You can be in business great month and then no business the next month. Like it's tough. So wanting to get more recurring revenue. And then third is a problem I always had when I was building companies was when you're hiring engineers, the good ones are always employed. So you got to get them. It's a slow process. And sometimes you need to get engineers fast for a project or something. And then you look to outsourcing. Well, outsourcing is the opposite problem. It's water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Like you just don't trust the 10 emails a day you get from Sunil and Yuri and everybody else about how they can build your website and do everything you want, right? So I decided, okay, well, on the gig worker stuff, like, you want to build a little website on WordPress, that's Upwork. On the enterprise stuff, you've got a massive enterprise, you're going to do a digital transformation, that's IBM services, that's Deloitte, that's
you name it, yeah.
Yeah. In the middle, where most people need some engineering services, there's no filter to figure out who's good at what. So I leveraged all the people that I knew in all these countries to find out who is good at what in their country.
These are not the people that they're selling between 10 to 100 million, right? This gap, right?
Yeah. So
there is no solution for these people, basically. If you selling more than 100 million, okay, you're fine because you have all these oracles and all these servers and all these pros that you pay money and everything is spotless. And if you are making your first million, you basically are working with the free tools and the very cheap tools because
you're bootstrapping. You're just grabbing shit
whatever, and you're trying to save your thing, but so what happened with the people that they are 1 million to 100 million? Who helped these people?
Yeah,
so something in between, right?
That's right. So what do? You don't trust everything out there.
Absolutely.
So you say, Harry, do you know anybody who's good, right? And you go, yeah, I know a company down in Brazil, and it's really good, and they're buddies of mine, and they'll treat you well. Well, yeah, good engineering firms, even the outsourcing agencies and the ones that are referred to you, sometimes don't have any good engineers available when you're calling them, right? So, they're just they'll say yes, they want the business. So they'll just grab whoever they can and put together a team. That's not any good, especially if I got a specialized business like healthcare. I need to know what the rules around healthcare are. I need to, the user experience.
Compliance, everything.
Yeah. So you need people who really understand the business and the project and the tech stack you're in order to hit the ground running. So you can call those people. You might end up dry. You might end up lucky. Second step you do is you look online. Hey, obviously you're going to get the best advertised agencies, and then you're going to call them and they're going to say everything you want to hear because they take those calls all day long, every day. So you're hooped either way, right? And so, but you take a risk because you don't have time and you don't have time to get the data that would be good to make a good decision. So, and then, that's why only 39% of outsourcing projects actually work out well. 59% finish, 39% it doesn't work out at all. And that's because
statistic to know. Yeah,
it's because they don't have good data to make good decisions. They can't. You got a good hiring process, but you have a terrible outsourcing process because you don't have a lot of time. You never really done it, right? Yeah. So we decided to build all that expertise and pack it up into a ball. And so we built a massive database of who does what well in what country and what price point and all that stuff. And that's just the short list. The most important thing is the due diligence on the team that they're proposing at the time you're asking. That is the hardest part. Nobody has time for it. We have a scalable process to fix that. So that was the pivot. It's basically what I don't want any entrepreneur, whether they're, use us or not. It's nothing worse than wasting the time and let alone the money, the time lost to using an agency that is not the right fit. So to that end, I'm publishing a book in the next month. Probably it'll be available in August, and it's free for anyone who comes to our site on the quintessential steps to doing outsourcing right, like how not to.
Oh, wow. We're happy to have a look at the book. We own a book publishing here. My girlfriend, Lily, owns it. Book publishing company. Some of these books that you see behind I've been publishing by her. So I am the boss. My girlfriend is the boss of the boss. Yeah, her name is Lily. So Lily would love to have a look at your book. But Sean, let's talk about something, right? And it's about pivot, because you have you clearly a very wise entrepreneur, right? And you didn't panic, right? So COVID came, and panic, check, you step back and say, okay, let me think what I'm very good at. And that is something that you were really good, which is attracting talent, right? You were brilliant doing this, right? When was no COVID, right? You was getting the best talent, the best engineers, and allocating there, right? So when a moment of pivot come, right? And now you don't have you don't have any.
I have a business. I don't have a business.
You don't have your operation at work. What you need to you have to think back and say, okay, what I'm really good at and how I can pivot this. I'm happy because in COVID, when Speakers and Leaders is one of the events, is one of the things we do. We do events all over the world, right? And we went like, man, in 2018, we went only 4 months in London. We were traveling all the world, me and Lily, like a rock star. Thousands of people everywhere waiting for us, Peru, Mexico, you name it. Actually, when COVID came, I was in a speaking tour in Peru. 10,000 people were waiting for us. We took the plane, and we should usually, Lily and I, we will go in November to Dubai and Middle East. Then, because we're running from the cold here in UK, so November is cold here. So in November, we usually took off. And then we used to go to Dubai because November and December is very good weather in Dubai in November and December. So we do our Middle East talks there, and we stay there a little bit on holiday, a little bit working. Then we used to go to Malaysia and Singapore, right? January, February. Then March and May and April is we go to South America, to Peru, Mexico, right? And then when it's hot again, we come back to London. That's how we were doing before COVID, right?
Nice agenda.
So we were on the roll all the time, and sometimes, sometimes get harder. Sometimes one day I'm in Mexico, and the other day I need to be in Singapore, and I had to step over in London, and I have 3 hours stepping over in Heathrow, and I'm telling to a promoter, can I go and sleep in my bed at least 15 minutes? And the promoter, Harry, you don't move from the airport. You cannot lose the plane because you need to be in Mexico.
Go get tested.
There are thousands of people there. Don't move. I said, look, I only want to go home to touch my pillow. I said, don't move from the airport. You want your pillow? They say, you want your pillow? We send a driver to your house to bring your pillow. You touch it. So anyway, so the whole point is that, and then we were on the speaking tour in Peru, right? Thousands of people. We do the first conference, we do the second conference, and all of a sudden they come to say, Harry, you know what? The airports are closed. No more events.
You can't go.
And you cannot get out of Peru. I'm like, what? They said, no, we don't know how you can go back to UK. So we spent 111 days in Peru. It was amazing. They have amazing food there. Yeah, and it was all green. We were in a big compound that was surrounded, so we can go out and no problem because the facility have a hospital inside the thing. And I'm thinking, well, it's not actually a bad idea. Everybody in UK, they're inside the home, and here.
Yeah, well, you had it way better.
I don't want to go to UK. Everybody inside the house there anyway. But
except Boris Johnson.
and then I didn't even know what Zoom was. So I had to pivot. So no ends, no things. So I had to go through the same process you went, right? Like, okay. Well, we are really good. Okay, we're really good doing events, right? Okay. and guiding people and doing mentoring and talk about how to grow your business and so on, right? And so one friend of mine, which is a coach, he told me, Harry, there is a thing that calls Zoom that you can do events in that thing. They're all online, they're not physically, but it's gonna work one of the same. I said, what? So I called my IT director and said, listen, friend told me that there is something called Zoom, that if you use that thing, would be amazing. In a week, Sean, we have all this big tone background. We look like the BBC. We look the first motivational speaking contest in the world, all online. We did amazing things online. We reached over 1 million people online, and it was amazing.
Wow.
And my social media, I even knew my passwords. I don't. It was, because we were traveling all over the world. I didn't. We never pay attention to this. Now we have over 250,000 followers, because now, like, we all need to go online now. Okay, let's learn what happened. No, there is a Facebook. What is with that thing? No, you have to have a following. What is a following? I don't know. A lot of people we watch.
What is the following?
So we have to learn all these things because of the.
It used to be a problem. Somebody's following me. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So all of a sudden, right, you have to take like, don't panic. I think that a lot of people in COVID, they panic and they freak out and they close the business and fire everyone, right? Without having the idea, okay, how can we reinvent ourselves, what we are good at, and let's see how can we pivot this. Yeah, it's a tough call. You have to have a lot of nerve. You have to have your smiley face, and and your team. You need to smile to your team, and you and pretend
that you tell them all it's going to work out, but you have
you actually figure it out, right?
That's
you
right.
have to say the team, okay, don't panic, everything is fine. It's COVID then, we cannot do events. But
and go to bed and cry.
And I'm like, oh God, what's happening here? And then so Sean, what message do you have out there for people that they are stuck in the product? The product is not selling, is not moving. They don't want to pivot. They are stuck in the idea, and they think this is how to sell in the way it is, and maybe lack of experience, maybe lack of knowledge, maybe it's because they are not a sales and marketing person and they don't understand that if somebody doesn't buy your product, it doesn't matter that is the best in the planet. In the forms it is, it's not gonna sell. It doesn't matter if you try it 1,000 times. It doesn't matter if you bring the best sales people. It's not ready for market, and that's why people are not buying. So what advice do you have for tech entrepreneurs out there that sometimes they are resisting to pivot or to polish the product in order to make the easiest path to the market fit scenario?
Yeah, it's an excellent question, Harry, and I'm glad you asked it. There's so many ways to answer that, but the first one I'm going to answer is to get your ego out of the way. And your ego includes the shame of having made the mistake. Because you've told your whole, just like you said, I had to tell my whole team, this is where we're going, this is awesome, we're going to be here. You've told your whole team, this is where we're going to go, and now you're telling them we're going in a different direction.
Exactly.
So some people don't like that shift, and maybe they don't like, the get on the bus or get off the bus kind of program, but to take yourself away from the assumptions you've made about the business and allow yourself to see it for what it really is will allow you to see what other opportunities exist for that business. But if you don't do that, you're just going to keep running into that head wall. And it might just be timing. Like, I've been in a business where I was way too early for
tell me about it. Been there, done it. Painful, eh? Painful.
Yeah, entrepreneurs, we think ahead, and not everyone's that far ahead.
So when the people come to you, I have a unique idea, nobody's doing it.
Maybe there's a reason nobody's doing it. Exactly.
I'm terrified. I said, really? Nobody's
Competition is good. Competition is good because it elevates the awareness of what
there is a market for it, right? With our publishing company, a lot of people come, I don't think that we're gonna publish a book in personal development because there are
Yeah.
so many books out there about that topic. As a listener,
Yeah, exactly.
if there are a lot of books about that topic, it's a good idea. The people are buying
It's a
it.
big
That's what
business. Yeah.
That's what
And everyone
that.
wants something new. So, and the same thing with so there's timing, then there's like I said, product-led growth. How do you get people to attract? What is the atomic value of what you're offering that is attracting people versus what you think is the value? Oh, this is the big deal, this is the big deal. Everyone just understood. As soon as you have to educate a consumer about your product, you're gone, right? It has to be obvious. So find the atomic value that attracts. And don't be afraid of making those changes in order to focus on that one piece. There's a Canadian, Paul Butterfield, who started a company. His first company he wanted to do was a game, and he couldn't. He failed miserably at the game. But one thing that he did notice is that his team really liked how they were sharing images of what they needed to do. That became the very first photo sharing site on the internet.
Wow.
And he sold it to Yahoo for $60 million. Three
Wow.
people in the company, but they focused on what they had and what was marketable. Then he worked at Yahoo, hated it, and then went back to the game, started the game again. Got a lot of investors because he'd made millions before, right? And guess what? Game fails again.
Oh my God.
Totally fails. He's almost out of money. And he goes back to his investors and say, look, I'm sorry, that game's not working out. But we had this collaborative tool with all my engineers, which were distributed around the world, that worked really well. And we're seeing that a lot of people also want to use it. Do you mind if we put the rest of that money into that? And guess what that product was?
No.
Slack.
Wow. Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So $6 billion exit for something that failed. Being not afraid to go back to the people who supported you and telling them what the reality is. And if we don't follow reality, if we follow my dream, we're going to lose. If we follow what the market is telling us, we're going to win. So don't be afraid of giving up on your dream to go to where the market is, right?
Wow, 100. Wow, I love the advice, Sean. That's amazing. That's fantastic. Yeah, and sometimes you have to let it go. Even with us, with our polling speaking, our conference, the same thing, right? Every time that we're gonna do a talk, we asking the promoters, who's the audience? No, you're gonna speak in the university. Yeah, but are they in the first year or in the fifth year? Are they male, female? Are they study medicine, engineering? Tell her, Harry, why do you want to know all this? Well, we really want to know this because I don't want to put in the way what I want to say versus what they wanted to hear. So the more I know about them, the more I can tailor the speech or whatever I have to do more adaptable for them. So I need to know as much as possible about them before I do the talk. That's why I need all this information. It's not because it's my hobby to bother you, yeah. Lily, my girlfriend drive them crazy to a promoter, yeah. They ask him so many things about the audience. They say, okay, Harry, Lily is driving me crazy. I say, yeah, but it's because she knows that when she goes there, there is an audience and that we need to serve the best possible, right? We have to hear the market. And also, Sean, to be flexible. I think somebody said that Bruce Lee, they said, be like water, my friend, right? If you are in business and if you are in tech, where a small mistake is really expensive, right? You have to be able to pivot, to be flexible, to move, and to let your ego, your I know everything, you have to let all that go immediately because all these things are very expensive in this type of industry. And at the end of the day, look, the sample that you gave with the Slack and so on, right? Something will work if you're able to surrender and see, okay, let me surrender my idea on my thing and let me use what people want and let me try to make it work. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Now, the story.
Harry, you try out Bruce Lee and be like water. There's one of the best pieces of advice that somebody told me was he's speaking metaphorically. He said, in nature, what is the shortest distance between 2 points? And most people think straight line.
Straight line,
right?
yeah.
Think of a river. It's
Uh-huh.
the path of least resistance.
You're
So
right.
from you to your customer, what is the
Yeah, because
path?
in the straight line have resistance, it's not gonna be the fastest way.
Totally. And
Wow,
that's what we all
very
think. As
powerful.
entrepreneurs, we think about the end game and the customer's going to buy it and
And
like
the
that.
straight line,
And we think straight line, but no, there's a path that they need to take, and you need to find the one of least resistance.
what is least resistance? Wow, that's really, really powerful. Yeah,
Mm.
amazing. Sean, and I think that so what are this is what everybody's waiting and dying to hear from you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They basically don't care about anything that we say first. They
That's right.
want to know, Sean, what are the 5 steps that tech entrepreneurs want to do to achieve the first million? And they want to hear it from you.
Okay. So I thought about this question. My answer is an algorithm, and the acronym is ALGO. So
Yeah.
you got to go all in. So number one, it's act, listen, lever, go, operate. ALGO, which is appropriate for this whole machine learning and AI world. So number one is act. Everyone has ideas. Very few people take action on it. So go, try it, start the business. That's number one. Number two, listen. I told you about the experience that I had where I listened to the customer that actually said it was the stupidest idea he's ever heard. And I had 20 others who said it was a great idea, go for it. They didn't have anything to risk or lose. This guy actually knew what I was going to get into. And the same thing with what I've done with this company. I listened to what the market was doing. It's going to go to remote. Everything's going to be okay. Boom, pivoted to the business. So listen to your customers. We talked about that. Number three, lever. Don't abandon what you've gained from the experience of trying something. Lever it to get to the next place. Lever the knowledge you've gained, lever the network you've gained. People will help you pivot, and so will your customers. So lever, that's ALL. Now, 4 is get. Get what you need to grow. Get the support you need. Number 1 is your team that got you to a certain level where you actually product market fit is maybe not the team that's going to take you to the next level. You need to bring in experts who are, specialized in the marketing channel that you're going to go in. You need an operational expert. If you're an entrepreneur and you're crazy like me and you can't, have a sentence that lasts more than 30 seconds, you gotta have people who are really good at grounding you. You have to have that yin and yang in the organization. You have to have the engineer that can grow the team. There's a great book called Who, which talks about just that hiring process. That is the critical factor to the grow. So act, listen, lever, grow, and then operate. So you want to improve the operating efficiency of the business. Everything that you've done in the beginning should not be scalable because you don't want to invest too much in it. You should just try things. But at a certain point, when you start to grow, you need to create efficiencies in the operations that allow you to scale. And so that's, replacing, just as simple as replacing common actions with tools, right? Using robotics process automation tools that are out there. And that leads to the last part of ALGO, which is rhythm, which allows you to get a rhythm of repeatable things. So as you bring people in, the training tools are all there. You've videoed everything that you do as a business, and you can start to let things go.
Wow, that's brilliant. That's fantastic. And Sean, if someone is listening this podcast and they know, right, that they are turning over between 1 million to 100 million, and they know all these pain points that we're talking about, project management and outsource this project, and to have the right people, the right engineers and the right workforce to actually deliver it. Now there is, as you know, it's a big problem. I've been asked to speak about this a lot, which is it's a lot of legacy, right, out there with this type of companies selling between 1 million to 100 million. They have legacy in technology, even legacy
Technical
people,
debt. Yeah.
people
Yeah.
and they need to move on, and they don't know how to move on. Now they need to move all this software to cloud computing, and they don't want to let that go because those softwares and those systems have been built, I don't know, since the 80s or 60s.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to change anything, and these big companies, they make a lot of money, but they are scared which team are gonna bring. It's on my data, and it's legacy with the software, also legacy with the employees as well. So they need someone like you. They need a company like Outforce that know that can outsource the right type of engineering, the right type of software development, the right type of if it's oil industry or whatever, and put the big team together. And the project can actually work, can be outsourced, everything can work on the cloud, everything will be fine, but you need the right people, and you cannot do this with the 100 million whatever expensive tools that are out there, because you cannot afford it, and you cannot do it with the free tools and that the startups are using it, because you're not going to risk the company. So how they can approach Outforce.ai, how the process work, and how can you help them? If you can share this.
Yeah, so just come to our website. We've got to sign up and we'll set up a call, discovery call.
What is the website? Outforce.ai.
Outforce.ai, yeah.
And what they're gonna find there? A picture of you saying, "Hi man, I got you," or what they're gonna find? How the process work?
They're going to find a couple things. One is they'll see examples of the database that we've built, so you can filter it based on geography, based on tech stack, based on business domain, based on how old the agencies are, how many projects they've done, all those things, right? That's kind of table stakes. But the most important part is who they have at the time you're asking, and that's the kind of extra services that we layer into it to make sure you get a good match. So, and it can range from somebody doing a proof of concept, and we're setting them up with a fractional use of architects and UX, UI designers and everything else like that, to a wholesale reboot of a legacy software that needs to be refactored. And we do a lot of those. And again, it's not us. We find the agency that's best suited for that. Give the client a short list, so they're not wasting time talking to an agency that is.
You guys are like the insurance policy. Everything's gonna be fine, yeah. You give it we will point you in the right direction, right? Because you do.
Well, we have a 98% hit rate, so versus on your own, you got about a 39% chance of success. So,
yeah, because there is something that you guys have really, really good, which is attracting talent. Yeah, that's why you attract me. Okay, Sean, thank you so much. It's been a fantastic conversation. I really know that your time is really valuable, and you were so kind to spend it with us, with our audience, and things that you shared today, they're really, really powerful. Yeah, we share it in a very with no resistance, and very we have a very nice chat. But if you guys are listening this podcast and following us in our social media, I will advise you to listen this episode 2-3 times, because there is a lot of valuable information here if you are in the tech space. If you surrender yourself and you say, let me allow my time to listen what these two guys are sharing here, and you surrender, you will discover something for yourself really powerful, and you will be able to pivot your company. And then, when you are in Canada or in London, you can buy us a beer.
I will.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sean. And
Harry, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And for all of you following this podcast, Unstoppable, see you in our next episode. How brave entrepreneurs like Sean break that wall. No one time, Sean break it 4 times, and now he's on the 5th one and achieved the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.